Hey everyone, welcome to Otaku Talk. It's me, your boy, your host, OD, and today we'll be reviewing and analyzing chapter 1053 of One Piece. I can't believe we're here. I believe this is the end of, the Wano arc. I haven't officially checked, but I've seen on Reddit and from other YouTubers that Oda said there are only going to be 2 more chapters of Wano, and this is the last chapter before he goes on his 1-month hiatus. So I guess this is it. There's a handful of things that were kind of left unfulfilled. I'm wondering if maybe this actually isn't the last arc of the last chapter of Wano. If maybe we'll get one more when the break ends, or if maybe it's going to be a situation where stuff like Zoro visiting Ryuma's grave and other plot points are going to be told to us later in flashback, or while they're journeying, or just, while they're talking to each other. Oh yeah, this happened. Oh yeah, that happened. So I'm very curious about that. I'm going to be very real with you guys. Between this chapter and last week's, I did like last week's chapter a lot more. Not to say that this one was bad. This one just seems to be kind of a continuation of all the cliffhangers of last chapter, and it just kind of answers the question that we got the hype built up for. If this is your first time on my channel, or you've been here before but haven't done so already, I would greatly appreciate it if you could do me a solid. Please hit that subscribe button. Please like this video. Please comment below. Help me with that engagement. I would really appreciate it. You'd be doing me a solid. So thank you guys for that. Anyway, without much further ado, let's get into this review. Alright, so chapter 1053 of One Piece. Oh my god, it's been a long time coming, but we are finally here. So we start off this chapter with, by the way, no cover story. We do get a nice little color spread. Very excited. We get some promotion for both, One Piece film Red, as well as the new One Piece video game Odyssey, which honestly I'm very excited to get. I've heard nothing but great things. Maybe I'll do a video on that in and of itself. But yeah, so we got some promotions from that. We were done with the Germa story. Maybe we'll continue later, who knows. So we start off this chapter with the Gorosei freaking out. Apparently a bunch of bounty posters that were not supposed to go out have gone out with pictures of Luffy in his Gear 5 Joy Boy form. And so somehow, through some mysterious oversight, the wrong image got put out and the wrong name got put out. They weren't supposed to put the D in Monkey D. Luffy, and also they weren't supposed to use the Gear 5 picture. Honestly, I really don't understand why they used the Gear 5 picture. That's not the most common form you're going to see Luffy in. That would be like having a bounty with Kaido's dragon form on it, or Big Mom's, what's it called, not the 3 worlds, whenever she had fused with Prometheus, Zeus, and Napoleon, having that kind of thing. So that didn't really make any sense to me. I don't like that that's his. I really don't like that that's his bounty poster. But hey, we're gonna get over it. So we finally see the so. We know that, it was released because of Morgan's. I don't know if Morgan's broke onto, took over a marine ship or something and released, their prints, their pre-releases or whatever, but they're out. He's making sure that the information spreads and gets disseminated. So there's no going back. The whole world is going to know about this. And we find out the new bounties of not both, but all of Kid, Law, and Luffy. And they all have $3 billion.
Here comes the money.
Here we go.
3 billion berry bounties. Yes. I don't like it. I'm not a fan. Before this review, I looked it up. What does he have? Blackbeard has a 2.2 billion. Shanks has a 3 billion or something, right? And then you have Big Mom and Kaido in the 4 billion range, right? I'm just saying, as someone that not only just defeated a Yonko one-on-one, and yes, I know it wasn't truly one-on-one. I know that he fought the Scabbards, he fought, the supernovas. Then he fought, Yamato, and then he fought Luffy. Like, it wasn't a true one-on-one fight, but still, regardless, to, finish and put down Kaido on his own, to be the mythical sun god Nika, to be the prophesized Joy Boy, to be a member of the clan of D, the mythical D clan, to potentially be on this island of Wano that has this obviously, in my opinion, even though Momo is the shogun or whatever, it would make sense for Luffy to put his flag down and make it a property, a territory of the Straw Hat Pirates. So, when it comes to bounties, it's not just about, damage and power level. It's about threat to the government, right? So I'm just saying, at this point in time, he is the greatest threat to the government. He's dethroned two of their greatest threats. He's upset the balance of power. He's awakened this legendary fruit that hasn't been awakened in 800 years or something like that. He's learning a bunch of secrets. He has Nico Robin on this crew, this, that, and the other. For him to only be at 3 billion just seems kind of like an insult, like a slap to the face, like an oversight on the government's part. Maybe the idea here is they didn't want too big a leap in his bounty. Maybe the idea here is they didn't want too much to get people too excited, too curious about why it suddenly took a giant leap. Honestly, I couldn't tell you why. Not only is it capped at 3 billion, even though in my personal opinion he deserves nothing less than 4 billion, if not higher than Kaido, the one he defeated. Not only is it only at 3 billion, but it's tied with Law and Kid, is maybe to get rid of some of the credit, maybe to take some of that away from him. Even though, if that was the case, a decision that we find, a decision that was made later on in the chapter that I'll talk about, I'm lost. I'm confused. We'll get to it. So anyway, after that, we move over and we go back to, is it Onigashima Castle that we're at? I have no clue actually the location. I'm going to assume it can't be the castle because the castle's on fire, right? So are they at the Flower Capital? Yeah, I'm assuming they're at the Flower Capital in Orochi's castle. I forget. I'm bad with, I wish I was teching on this shit where I just knew everything, but I don't. Please don't fault me. I'm going to get better and better. Hopefully during this month, I was actually thinking of finally buckling down and reading all of One Piece. So maybe we'll see. But anyway, we have this chef, presumably Wano's greatest chef, presumably someone that probably worked under and served, Orochi and Kaido while they were there and served all their feasts and festivals and whatnot. And so he has put together this extravagant feast, lavish feast with probably these high-end meals and whatnot. And then he presents it. It's a meal fit for a shogun. And then we look out and we see all these place settings, all this delicious looking food spread around, and the only person there is Jinbei. And Jinbei has to, sadly, reluctantly inform this, chef that literally just stated he poured out all his heart and effort into this meal. Yeah. The people you made this food for, that you spent hours making and curating, yeah, they didn't have the patience to wait, so they just went ahead to the festival. But hey, I'm here. I'll eat your food. I respect, your craft and the effort you put into it. So that was funny. Kind of really wish we got more of the chef's interaction, or in a arc where we've been getting constant reaction shots. The one of the chef would have been really nice. So yeah, that was really sad. So from there we transition to Luffy actually at the festival, and he's with Yamato and Chopper, and they are having an absolute blast, running around, eating candy, playing games, this, that, and the other. Someone amongst them says something along the lines of, this is their first festival. I was confused as hell because I was like, wait a minute, the Fire Festival was literally yesterday. So how is this your first festival? I was wondering if it was someone in the crowd. The only one I could possibly think of it being is Yamato, and I was like, how could it be Yamato? And I was like, okay, maybe it's Yamato because, she's been locked up. She never actually got to experience any of the Fire Festivals. The one last night she didn't get to, not last night, 7 days ago, a week ago, I forgot. She didn't get to experience simply because, she was fighting, Kaido and a bunch of other threats at the time. So I wonder if that was her. But I was like, what do you mean this is your first festival? We literally just had one a week ago. So that was very interesting. Apparently, and I don't know how they're going to do this, how they are going to recover for this. But apparently the festival is completely free. I don't know if that's simply just for Luffy or for all of Wano. But they have all the games are free for them, all the food is free for them. So yeah, they're about to eat Wano out of house and home. We see on the stage that Soul King Brook is performing, and he's about to perform a song with none other than Hiyori, and they're going to sing Moon Princess, which was Odin's favorite song. So that was super cool. So yeah, the crew's having a great time. I'm kind of nervous that this is kind of the calm before the storm, because there is someone here that we once again will talk about, but after this next set of panels, right? So after that, we see Robin, and everyone was talking about how she was gone last chapter, that she probably went to go read a poneglyph, but we don't see any poneglyphs in sight. We just see a bunch of dolls. So I'm really curious. I'm like, what's going on with these dolls? Is there a history, the background with these dolls? But no, the dolls were simply a red herring, unless of course they become more, relevant later, right? So in walks in Tenguyama, and he's talking to her, and basically Nico Robin is essentially like, hey, we don't have time for this. Oh, actually no, she doesn't say that. He basically tells her that these were his hobbies, that he made these, that he used to be a prisoner here, and he calls her by name. Now, Nico Robin has never met this dude in his life, has been introduced, and she's like, how do you know my name? Now, I kind of was wondering the same thing, because I was like, was that a big deal? Is that a big secret? One would assume, have you not, during that 7 days, had you guys not linked up? Has he not been like, oh, I know Luffy? I'm assuming Luffy told him about his crew, but, in the panels that we have where Luffy and Tenguyama were interacting, he really didn't discuss his crew, didn't really give out their names. So I guess that he just kind of knows these things, or he has his own information network. I have no clue. So anyway, at that point, he decides to reveal his identity, which I want to note, he completely just neglects her question, doesn't answer it at all, and just goes on to talking about himself. She was like, how do you know my name? And he was like, good question. Not going to answer it, but let's focus on me. And so he tells her all about how he is, I forget his name, Kazuki something. He is Odin's father, which makes him Momonosuke's grandfather, right? And he proceeds to tell Robin that, hey, Momo doesn't know. I don't want Momo to know. I have no intention of telling him. I'm going to assume that, some of the scabbards know, but, it's neither here nor there whether I'm going to confirm or verify that. And honestly, he just feels kind of shamed. He was the former shogun of Wano. Kaido and Orochi took over during, I guess, his watch, even though, technically it was Odin who was supposed to be, shogun at the time, but, Odin was gone. So I guess it was, in his father's, stead that he had a watch over Wano, and clearly his father couldn't do anything, so he feels ashamed, he feels embarrassed. So yeah, he's not going to reveal himself now, even though it's safe to. It's just like, I wasn't doing anything before, I'm not doing anything now. I was a prisoner, but when I got freed, I didn't really do anything with that freedom. I kind of had to rely on these strangers to come in, and I'm grateful to them, and I'm grateful for everything they did, but yeah, it's kind of sad. I kind of wonder what other roles he has in here, just for him to, have this conversation with Robin isn't enough. I want him to reveal more about the heritage and, genealogy of, Odin as well as Zoro. Maybe we'll get some information there. But the biggest probably news drop in this entirety of the chapter happens now, and we are told that Pluton, yes, Pluton is here. According to the poneglyphs that we read back in Wano, Alabasta, or pronounced Arabasta in this fan translation, Pluton is here. What are we going to do with that information? How are we going to utilize that information? I have no clue. What it could be, I have no clue. Are we going to finally tie back to the liquor iron ore? Yes. For those of you that have been here forever, I have not forgotten about it. I have not let that go. What happened to the relevance of liquor iron ore? Why is Wano the land of gold? We need these answers. Does it have anything to do with Zunisha? Does Zunisha actually leave? If Zunisha actually left, what was the point of Zunisha coming in the first place? So, oh my God, so many questions to answer, so much to like talk about and discuss. I'm going to be doing a follow-up video on my personal qualms with Wano, certain things I want to see in One Piece in the future, things I think are going to happen in the future, that what Oda is planning during this this break. And I'm also going to be trying to do some collab work with some other YouTubers. Already talking to the homie, the boy Tyra King Kuma, does great content. Make sure you check him out. I've done a video with him before and it was a great conversation. Gonna reach out to Luffy, Luffy the Dragon Slayer, aka Josh Hoagland, a YouTuber I've been watching since high school. Gonna see if I can get some big names on here, reach out to Tekken, see if he'll help the little man out. If anyone here can, help me out, message Tekken, be like, hey, I'm reaching out, I'm trying to, get him on my show, would appreciate that. Reaching out to Nathan, best guy ever. He has a lot of views that I like and I would like to discuss. So there's a lot going on, a lot in the works that I want to get to. But yeah, Pluton is here. What exactly is the nature of the weapon, and what does Robin intend to do with it or with the information of it? Is it something that will be beneficial to the Straw Hats that we can take with us and utilize? Who knows? So I'm very excited to see what comes of that interaction as well. Oh, one more thing. On top of that, there is what appears to be a poneglyph. I don't know if it's an actual poneglyph. It just looks like kind of like a wall behind her that has, poneglyph written on it. I forget, like, is poneglyph the language and the name of the cube, or just, anyway, it just looks like a wall with the transcription of what's on poneglyphs behind her. So she was reading poneglyphs. They probably did give her more information on Pluton, but still not enough to find out where it is. Now, the next panel we move over to is insane. It is Captain Ryokugu, or Green Bull, over at the Udon prison, completely having eviscerated Babanuki, King, and Queen. Now, to be fair, he brags about how a person of his rank could simply lose to commanders, but let's be real, they're injured and severely wounded and defeated from Sanji and Zoro and the other fights they had. So I think it's kind of funny that he's trying to take complete credit for washing them. Not to say that he couldn't at full strength, but obviously they were at his full strength, and that they're severely weakened at a disadvantage, right? So we see like Queen, and he looks super skinny, super just kind of dehydrated, like he's lost a massive amount of weight, and we see vines all around him, and he says this post-diet Queen is not his aesthetic. We see King, who honestly does not look as badly drained as Queen. Maybe that has something to do with the Lunarian in him. And then we see this barrel of what we find out later to be alcohol, maybe sake or something, and you hear glug glug glug. So we can kind of infer, we can kind of assume that the vines that Green Bull uses are able to absorb nutrients, and not just nutrients, but nutrients, water, maybe life force. He can eat and drink through the vines. So maybe when he says I haven't had to eat or drink, this is what he's done before. He just consumes the nutrients and the life force of his enemies. So that would be super cool. Now, a lot of people had a speculation that Green Bull was from Wano. I still kind of think that, but the fact that he's not mentioning anything about it kind of bothers me. They also speculated that he might not be a bad guy. He could be like Fujitora, that has bigger aims, bigger goals, and is using the Marines to kind of pursue them and fulfill them. But after what he says here, I am terrified. So at first I was wondering why he was at Udon. A lot of people thought he was going to be looking for Nico Robin. That's what I thought. Maybe he knows about Pluton. We don't quite know who he's reporting back to. I no longer think he's talking to Sakazuki, Red Dog, Akainu. I'm messing up right now. I'm sorry. I'm tired. So it seems like his goal at the moment is to capture Luffy. He seems to have some kind of man crush on Akainu, and he knows that, you know, Akainu really wants Luffy, and so he's like, man, I really want to impress Akainu. If I capture Luffy, that'll definitely put me in his good graces. That'll definitely, you know, help my, you know, promotion in the ranks, even though, you know, Akainu has the rank that he would be promoted to, so I don't know how that would work. But anyway, it's interesting. It's interesting. So I can't wait to see what happens. Can't wait to see if he actually does get to meet Luffy and the rest of the crew, or if something's going to happen that, you know, stops him. But yeah, he does look really powerful. He looks like a menace. Can't wait to see what's in store for the wielder of the first ever canon plant-based devil fruit. So anyway, the chapter finishes off with, you know, Luffy drinking, eating, celebrating, and we see Kid running at him. Luffy, being the oblivious idiot but lovable main character that we love, just doesn't even attack Kid. I don't even know if he really thinks that Kid is attacking him, and just stretches his arm, wraps it around him like it's a buddy, and he's like, hey, you came to join us for the party. And like, Kid's not about that at all. He's like, I'm trying to take your head, you know, and like, Luffy's confused. He's like, why? And that's when we get the big reveal about the new Yonko. Kid shows him the flyer. You see Luffy's eyes bulge out of his head, a common occurrence ever since, you know, he awoken his devil fruit. And we now see the new Yonko. We see that it is Shanks, of course, Blackbeard, Luffy, and then Buggy the Clown, or as my editor wants him referred to as Buggy D Clown. So wow, that is insane. I remember last review I was trying to think to myself, who could the fourth one be? I feel like, you know, it can't be Law, it can't be Kid, but if it was one of them, it would go Kid, because Kid has always felt more captainier, whatever the word is. He's felt more like the folks of a captain. Even though I like Law as a character more, I was just like, who could fill that fourth slot? And then for a second I thought maybe it could actually be, you know, Law and Kid, because maybe, you know, Shanks got killed, Shanks got defeated while we were on Wano, but no, it was Buggy. And honestly, Buggy isn't someone that I immediately thought about, but the moment that I did find out it was Buggy, I was like, that makes sense. That makes sense. It was more of an oversight on my end. He has the, you know, the Buggy mercenary group or whatever, the delivery transport group. He's a big power, a big threat in the world. But this brings me, there's something I want to like discuss before I end this video that bothers me is, if Luffy is a big enough threat to be, you know, declared a Yonko, then how the hell does he have the same bounties as Law and Kid? And what disqualifies them from being Yonko if they are, according to their bounty, of equal threat to the world government as, you know, Luffy? And Luffy is ranked at 3 billion, right? Also, so that, I don't know, that rubbed me the wrong way. That bothered me profusely. I want to know more about that decision-making process. I wonder if Oda's actually going to give it to us, or if that's just going to be something we have to tough titties deal with. On top of that, I just feel like, what was I about to say? I'm also upset that we don't get to see the bounties of the Yonko. I'm very curious to see if Teachers has gone up, if Shanks has gone up, if who's the other one? If Buggy, I want to see what Buggy's is. It definitely, if he's a Yonko, it's definitely got to be in the billions. I want to know what feats he's done while we've been at Wano that have put him on Yonko status, because it can't simply be having that, you know, distribution network. He had to have done something major, right? Or maybe it's a lot of the, you know, the pirates in his crew, they're actually doing things under his name. Because earlier in this chapter, we see how Luffy specifically told Momo he doesn't want anyone to know his name. So that explains my question from last chapter, where I was like, why the hell are they saying it's Joy Boy? Looks like that's a lie, a rumor that was put out by, you know, Momonosuke and the rest of the Alliance members, so that, you know, Luffy doesn't take the credit because Luffy doesn't want to be a hero. So that's cool. We're kind of used to Luffy and the Straw Hats, you know, not wanting to be heroes, not taking credit. But I do love the fact that in some way, shape, or form, his story is going to continue. People, the important people, and the people in the know are going to know the story about him. People like, you know, Tenguyama, aka, you know, Kozuki, what's it called? Sakiyaki? Is his name Sakiyaki? Kazuki Sakayaki and others are going to tell, important people or, tell children the legend, the story of Straw Hat Luffy and what he did for Wano. Anyway, I'm going to leave the chapter review here today. Normally I go into more about what I think is going to happen next chapter and stuff like that, but I'm really going to try to work on a series of videos that I'm going to put out that's going to address all that, and that's just going to make me work and evolve as a content creator. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this entire video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. You'd be doing be such a huge solid. I would appreciate it. Anyway, thank you. This has been Otaku Talk. I'm your boy OD. Take care. Have a great weekend. I know I'm going to. I have some of my students testing for their next level belts tomorrow, and it's the last day of school for a lot of them. So for my after school program, we're going to be seeing Lightyear, so I'm excited for that. So anyway, peace. Take care. Have a great weekend. I'm out.